o'clock or 8:01 or something like that. And this show is for people who play or listen to music. And we are doing both tonight. Thanks for the audio, Greg. Tonight our live studio guest is going to be... Well, this is really good. Yeah, okay. Our live studio guest is Dean Magraw, who's just recently returned from a trip to the USSR with a bunch of players called Rock House. Should be a lot of fun to talk to him in just a few minutes. But first, I just want to announce that as of February 9th, we're going to start the show at 9 o'clock from 9 to 9:30. Future guests could include our Rhythm 360, Paul Metza, the Smythes, Gear Daddies, Speed Kings, Willie Murphy, and a bunch of others. Chan Pauling could be there. We could be getting ipso facto, things like that. Coming up in the world of music around us, playing this Thursday through Sunday at the Artist Quarter is Bobby Rockwell and his band. It should be a lot of fun for the jazz connoisseurs out there. There's a lot of hot jazz happening in the city, so stay tuned to your local trades if you want to know of any gigs that I'm not talking about. Thursday through Saturday this weekend is Shirley Witherspoon's farewell concerts. She'll be appearing at Ruby's Cabaret, the new Ruby's in the north of the Warehouse District. Tonight, at the Caboose Bar, Charlie McLean with special guest Molly and the Haymakers. Holly and the Mayhakers. Okay. Bill Hinckley and Judy Larson are playing at Scanlon's Irish Pub over in St. Paul. West First Street, a band from Lawrence, Kansas, new to our area, is trying their chops at the Fine Line tonight, and they might be worth a listen for the rhythm and blues friends that are out there. Saturday, tomorrow, no, that's Friday's tomorrow. Saturday, we have, where's Friday? Friday and Saturday, the Radiators, 11th anniversary show at the Caboose Bar. Papa John Kolstad at the New Riverside Cafe. Linwood Slim at River Place from 7 till 10 p.m. doing a Mardi Gras celebration at the River Place Exhibition Hall. Tune in for that. Salsa Blanca, Friday and Saturday night, also playing at Sweeney's. For Saturday alone, we have Dave Ray and the Volunteers of the Blue Night at St. Anthony East. From Belgium, a band called Weathermen with Lies Incorporated and Judgment of Paris playing at 7th Street Entry. Gear Daddies with special guests The Sparrows at the Uptown. Richie Cole at the World Theater appearing at 8:30. Sunday, World Citizen with special guest Leroy Shakespeare at the Caboose Bar. Free hot lunch at the Fine Line. Monday, Joan Jett at the Guthrie Theater, 7:30 showtime with special guest Broken Homes. Supposed to be kind of a Rolling Stones attack there with Broken Homes. Might be worth checking into. Monday through Wednesday of next week at the Dakota Bar and Grill, Bobby Watson and his band. Should be some swinging stuff. Shows at 8 and 10. A lot of bebop, a lot of jazz in the city. So, you know, if you're not into a rock scene or a rock sort of mood this kind of balmy winter we've got, get out there and check out some jazz, because it might extend you a little bit as far as what you've been exposed to and what kind of chops you got. Let's welcome to our studio our special guest tonight, Mr. Dean Magraw. Hello, Dean.
Hi. Hi, Skip. How are you?
Welcome home. Welcome back to the States, as they say.
It's nice to be here. It's nice to be home.
So you were in where?
I was in the Soviet Union.
Now that's not a lot of people from Minnesota or the U.S. in general get out to the Soviet Union too often. How long a flight was that?
On the way out, it was like 10 hours with a stop in Gander, Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
What a town.
That's up a Canadian province there, in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
Newfoundland.
But the way back was longer. The Aeroflot was rescheduled to go through Ireland and then again through Newfoundland, and it was like 12, 14.
So you picked up Aeroflot in Newfoundland?
No, we picked it up in New York City.
Aeroflot from New York?
From New York City.
Wow. With one refuel stop, and you're off and running, huh?
That's it. Over the Arctic Circle into Moscow.
So if you left here like on a Friday, you'd land there on a Friday or a Saturday?
It would depend. They're ahead of us in time.
I see.
So it would depend. They're
That's
9
right.
hours ahead.
It's about 3 a.m. there now, right? 3 or 4 a.m.
What time is it here?
It's 8, maybe 5 o'clock in the morning.
No, it's about 5 o'clock in the morning.
So you'd just be getting home if you were still over there gigging.
Not quite yet, but yeah, I'd be on my way anyway. Yeah.
What about you went over with a band made up of local musicians?
Right. It was put together by Prudence Johnson, local singer, and it was Michael Hurley on drums, myself on guitar, Jane Callahan on bass, and Michael Sherman on keyboards, and of course Prudence as vocalist. And we played strictly rock and roll music. Very loud rock and roll music.
Was it original rock or was
it was cover material. Yeah, more recent stuff, some Neville Brothers, some reggae things.
How large an entourage did you travel with over there?
Well, the 5 members of the band, and then a couple of production people and a bunch of interpreters. It changed sizes a lot.
If you have any questions for our guest, Dean Magraw, feel free to call in to our TC Music hotline. It's 521-9886. Is that right? Someone's nodding. What is it, 9886? There it is. It's on the screen now, flashing. Call now if you have a question for Dean Magraw about guitar playing, or playing in a band, or playing in Russia. Or you went to Moscow?
Yeah, we did all our concerts in Moscow at two hockey rinks. They were
hockey rinks.
Yeah.
Let's show a picture of one of these places in Moscow here.
Yeah, I believe that's the
camera one might be able to pick that up the best.
I think that's the Luzhniki. That's our stage at the Luzhniki, which held 10,000 people, and there were a couple of, I mean, it was pretty much full every night. The 7 concerts we did there.
You played 7 nights in a row there?
Yeah, and some afternoon shows too.
There we go. We'll get the angle right there.
No, there were a couple of nights off inside.
It looks like a hockey rink. And there's people seated behind the stage.
Behind the stage, and so you're... Oh, actually, no, then that would be the first place we played. I can't remember the name of that place. That held 7,000 people.
Were all the venues at large then?
Yeah. There were 2 venues. One held 7,000, the other 10,000.
And how was the reception there?
It was really good for the way they do things. They're kind of subdued reactors to musical events and showbiz.
Well, did you see a lot of militia, KGB, at these events? Were you
there was
swarmed
KGB,
with security?
KGB support troops, which have the BB on their epaulets. And we did have one encounter with the KGB. They wanted some Russians to leave our dressing room.
There's a picture of the group that went over there. A whole bunch of folks. You might have to pan back.
Well, now, wait a minute. That's us and a whole bunch of Russians and partiers and animals.
Okay.
And we were at a co-op hanging out, and yeah, we just had finished singing, and we were feeling pretty good, and somebody decided to take that shot.
Now, I noticed there's one member there of the Russian band, Postscript.
Postscriptum.
Postscriptum. Does this comprise some of the whole band there? Or?
Let me see it. 1, 2. I see 2 postscriptums in here.
Did you jam with those guys at all? Or?
Yeah, a few of these people we jammed with. Yeah, played some jazz tunes, some blues things, and some funky type of things.
So this was your first trip over, right?
Oh yeah, first time I ever been in a place like that.
So but some of the other members had gone, right? Jane and Prudence.
Jane and Prudence
with Women Who Cook.
Right.
So they'd already. Well, did they go to Moscow the first time? I guess they did.
They did. Yeah, I don't know how much they performed in Moscow, but
Peter Himmelman, I think, just went over there just before concurrently with the Women Who Cook tour, and they traveled in the south region, the southern regions, and I think the Women Who Cook tour happened to get down there, but Himmelman stayed basically in that area, didn't go to any of the major northern cities at all.
Right.
So, from your experience, would you recommend a trip to the USSR?
Oh, highly. You bet.
As far as musical differences between their popular music, do they have like radio play over there? Do they have album
I didn't hear too much radio action. They like American rock and roll. That's the impression I got. I didn't see everybody in the country, but the people I met and the people I talked to were deeply into American rock and roll.
Moscow's a large city, 15 million or
Not that large.
10 million people?
Less than that even, I think.
And do they have a thriving club circuit, would you think?
Not really.
I saw one of the photographs I was reviewing. There was a small balcony with a band set up there, and I had heard that was a balalaika orchestra or something that played up in the balcony.
Oh, you saw a picture from our thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got into a balalaika scene. We sat in with those guys. Hurley played drums. They had a drum set for him, and they had an organ for Michael Sherman. Jane wasn't there, and I got the pleasure of sitting in on balalaika, which is a very strange instrument, with only 3 strings.
3?
Yeah.
3 strings.
2 of them are tuned exactly in unison, so it was
an octave apart.
No.
Is it fretted, or is it?
It's a fretted instrument. Yeah.
Plucked with a
plectrum.
Yeah. Of some sort.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. So, you're back now. The jet lag is wearing off slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely, it's wearing off.
Your speech is beginning to come in sync with your lips. And
my lips, sometimes, not always.
So, what are you going to do now that you're back home?
Play music. That's what I always do.
Play music where? Who with? How long have you been playing around the cities?
I've been living here since 1980. Before that, I lived in Boston, and before that, I lived here. Nowadays I play with Tribute to Mingus, Latin Jazz Combo, the Organ Grinder Review. I play with a tabla artist, Marcus Wise. I tour with a multi-instrumentalist by the name of Peter Ostrushko. I do some work with Prudence Johnson, and I play with a band called the What For, plays original music, and sometimes I lead my own band and
Called the Dean Magraw.
Group, ensemble, quintet, trio,
Sound of Renown.
something like that. Yeah.
Are you
Well,
from?
no.
Do you, knowing Peter, do you work or do you know any of the members of the Mando Boys?
Surely do. Yeah, I know them all. I was a Mando boy for a minute, my own self.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You were
I was a substitute Mando boy.
brought into the enclave. Huh?
Yeah, as a
Here's an
substitute,
honorary
temporary.
fez for you. The
Yeah.
Mando Boys are pretty unique. I
They're
remember
totally
seeing,
unique. Yeah.
seeing them at the Summer Folk Festival, and it was hard to keep listening to the music because of the humor that you'd see so much on stage, the reactions to each other. And the leader of the band,
Which
the
one?
the leader?
Habib or Maxim? There's two
Maxime,
leaders.
I think.
Maxim
This
is
guy.
that's Petro. That's Peter Ostrushko.
Wonderful group. How long? So you've been involved with the folk scene, per se, in this town for the last 8 years?
Yeah, I also play in a Scottish-Irish group called the Jacobites with my wife Laura Mackenzie and Ross Sutter, and we do some of that type of music.
Do you have records on Red House? Do you have your
yeah.
own stuff out?
I have one record with Marcus Wise, tabla artist. It's called Wise and Magraw, because that's who we are.
Whoops, a little slight misbilling there, right? It should be Magraw and Wise.
No, it works out really nicely with the W's on the either ends of the names. See,
Perfect for the artwork, right?
Got it.
So, tribute to Mingus, another group called the
Jacobites.
Jacobites. Now, it seems that there's a wide variance in the styles of music that are going on here
Yeah.
with these different groups.
To me, music is one big unhappy family. And it's just all sound to me, and I like to play what I like to hear. So I don't go by styles. I'm mainly trained in jazz, and that's what I study, is jazz music. But I like
Study
all
in the
kinds-
academic sense, or just in the...
when I sit at home and learn things.
Did you do theory in school? Did you go to
Sure.
music
Yeah.
school in Boston, or...
University of Minnesota and Berkeley College of Music, both.
Berkeley's pretty tough. Do you audition to get into that?
It's not that hard to get in, really. It's just hard to stay in.
Maintain.
Yeah.
They grade you there too, right?
Sure.
You want to play some music?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Play a number.
Let's show them what you can do here. This is Dean Magraw, live in studio on TC Muzique.
Right on. Here's a little tune that I wrote while I was in Moscow, sharing a hotel room with Michael Hurley. This one's called Olya.
Very nice.
Yep.
Written in Moscow.
Written in Moscow in Hotel Rossiya.
Titled?
Olya, which
For
is,
what?
it's like a familiar term for the name Olga, who is one of our interpreters, a really soulful Russian woman.
So if you were to go to Russia and maybe frequent a club or two where you might see music, popular music performed, would you hear anything at all like this? Would you hear jazz music performed of this nature?
We never really had much contact with jazz musicians. That picture that you showed earlier of that party, there were some jazz players there, and we played through some jazz tunes at that particular jam session. But from the contact I had, it was pop music with vocals, steady, medium tempos, 4/4, pretty much in the groove.
With one vocal or harmonies, it didn't matter?
As long as there was a vocal, it was cool.
And a melody they could whistle at the end?
Well, yeah, some hooks, just a regular sort of a pop thing. I mean, people liked a lot of nice music, but I didn't hear a variety of music at all.
Do you see anything new coming up in this town as far as the folk scene or the jazz scene goes? Any hot groups or artists that we could look out for, besides yourself?
Well, Tribute to Mingus, as you mentioned, I'm in that group, but that is always a great group to go see. Latin Jazz Combo is another incredible group. I was going to see Billy Sheehan play. Mikkel Ramstedt has recently moved out of town to New York for a while. When he comes back, I think that'll be really nice. There's a lot of action. If I started mentioning people you should go see everybody. You should go see Prudence. You should go see any group that Phil Hay is in. The list goes on and on. Support your local jazz.
These guys play a lot, don't they?
They do. They play a lot. They don't get a lot of chances to play exactly the way they want to play.
Right.
But they play a lot.
Two minutes to go. 2 minutes to fill. Our floor director's doing this.
Right. Well then, say, your kung fu is pretty good.
Smash that ham. Smash that. So what do you see for the future, Dean Magraw? Where do you think you're going to end up? Are you hoping to take your own thing to Russia? Or do you want to stay in the States?
Oh,
do you want to make
I'd like
continued
to go
trips
back
and forth?
to Russia with the Rock House. Leningrad, that's where I want to go next.
Did you see Leningrad the first time?
We hung out there, but we didn't play there. I'd like to play there. It's a beautiful town. Incredible.
Well, see, I got my photos from Greg Iman, who had been on the Women Who Cook tour and then went again with the Rock House thing. And from this second trip, from the second return home, he's more and more keyed to go back and back and back and back and to keep going back. Even though America is a good place to be, U.S. is
a great place to be.
It's a nice place to hang your hat. The exposure to this different culture is so revolutionary.
And it's not only the culture, it's especially the people. The people are really incredibly warm and deep, and they're full of love, really.
A lot of people think that the Russian public would be a lot more concerned with matters of state and militia, and for the good of the state, for the good of the flag.
That is true for a lot of people, but things have changed since 1986. Mike Gorby, he told the boys and girls, he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, you can ask questions now. We're going to open it up at least a little bit, and you can criticize." And they're learning how to do that, and it's changing. It's changing for a lot of people. Some people, it seems like, they're so used to another way of thinking that it's really difficult for them to adjust to this new potential. But it's an exciting time to be over there. And they let us do what we wanted to do, pretty much. There was occasional run-ins with the KGB, and that was unpleasant. But most of the people we met on the street and the people we had dealings with maybe one or two exceptions, were really great people, and that went out of their way to make us feel comfortable.
It's amazing that people from Minnesota that I personally know have had this opportunity to go and travel in the Soviet Union. It's a pretty neat deal. I'm hoping to get over there one day. I have ancestors from there.
You got to go. Where are they from?
I have no idea. Prussia. They left before the Tsar Revolution. I don't know which Tsar.
Prussia.
I don't know which revolution. What does this mean again? Rollin'. We're going to go to some Rollin' now, I guess.
What's Rollin'?
Rollin' is some video footage that we took last summer at Summerfolk of you and a violinist. Do you remember who that was?
Peter Ostrushko.
Peter playing violin. We're going to go to that now on TC Muzique. Dean Magraw.
Make welcome two of my close personal friends and confidants and guys to whom I owe money.
Well, then,
Both of them.
You're a
let's go.
It's very
Mr. Peter Ostrushko and Mr. Dean Magraw.
Okay, there's 2 dates I would advise the folks to come to. February 9th at the Artist Quarter with Latin Jazz Combo, and February 28th also at the Artist Quarter with Tribute to Mingus.
Dean Magraw. It's been a pleasure having you.
Hey,
We'll have you back, and we'll have you
Have
with
my
a
back.
couple of different players, and we can do a bunch of different things.
cool.
Thanks for tuning in to TC Muzique. We'd like to remind you that February 9th will be starting at 9 p.m. live from MTN Studios. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Lynn. Thanks, Jazz. Thanks, Katie. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, what's her name? She's Marido Cerniak. There she is. There's her name. Go ahead, pick a little. Play out.